Good morning to my friends and family, and welcome to this episode of Jim's 5am Club. What I'd love to do this morning on this magnificent Sydney spring day is to go through a book. And the book that I've selected for today's episode is entitled You Only Fall in Love 3 Times, a book that was published on the 14th of January 2020 by an author who goes by the name of Kate Rose. Kate Rose's book, You Only Fall in Love 3 Times, is the kind of book you pick up thinking it's about romance, but you put it down realizing that it's about your entire emotional journey. This isn't a sugar-coated love manual or a fairy tale template for a happily ever after. Instead, it's an honest, piercing exploration of why love hurts, why it transforms us, and why certain people enter our lives not to complete us, but more importantly, to reveal us. Rose builds her premise around the idea that we fall in love 3 times in life, each for a very, very different reason, and each shaping a deeper layer of who we are. There's the first love, born out of innocence and idealism. The second love, born out of hard lessons, chaos, and ego. And finally, the third, the soul connection, the one that fits in a way that's quiet, undeniable, and deeply authentic. So let's step through each of these lessons and see what we can glean, what we can learn, and what we can take, what we can incorporate into our inventory of skills, knowledge, wisdom, and potential power. So the first key lesson to come from this book is to understand that each love teaches a different lesson, but not all are meant to last. Rose describes the first love as the fairy tale, the love we think should work. The second is the hard love, the one that breaks us open. And the third, as we mentioned before, is the soul love, the one that meets us when we've become who we truly, truly are. And each plays a role, but we often mistake the wrong one for the right thing because we're still learning about ourselves. The next point to come from this author is where we talk about the love you attract reflects the self you know. We don't fall for people by accident. We fall in line with the important lessons that we need in life. If we don't know ourselves, we may chase chaos control or chemistry as opposed to connection. But as we evolve, our capacity to recognize true love also matures, evolves, and develops. Because love is not just found, love is matched to our awareness. We also learn from this book that twin flames are not perfect matches, but more importantly, they're mirrors. Rose's concept of the twin flame is not about flawless unity, but it's more to do with radical growth. Twin flames challenge us, push us, reflect our wounds and strengths. They're not meant to save us. They're meant to awaken us. And sometimes, just sometimes, that awakening comes with fire and not with comfort, with fire that burns as opposed to fire that warms. One of the key messages, one of the key lessons to come from this book is that we need to let go, because letting go is an act of self-love and not failure. Many people stay in relationships out of fear of loneliness, fear of judgment, and fear of starting over again and again. But Rose reminds us that walking away from a love that doesn't honour who we've become is not at all a failure. It is indeed a graduation, because loving yourself enough to let go is one of the most sacred decisions you can ever make for yourself and also for the people around you. And the last key message to come from this book is that real love isn't drama. Real love, in fact, is peace. Perhaps the most unexpected message in the book is that true love, the third kind of love, isn't theatrical. It doesn't exhaust you. It doesn't confuse you. It just feels natural. It feels grounded. And it feels very, very safe. And it never, ever triggers constant insecurity or tests us. It's not a rescue mission. It's the feeling of being at home. You don't need to chase it. All you have to do is to recognize it. This book, You Only Fall in Love 3 Times, is not a guide to get your ex back or a roadmap to avoid inevitable heartbreak. It's a gentle, very, very gentle confrontation with your own emotional history, and it makes one re-examine every relationship that shaped us, not with regret, but with understanding. Kate Rose, as we mentioned before, doesn't offer formulas. She offers truth, and in doing so, she gives us permission to stop chasing love and start becoming the kind of person who can receive love. This book is a must-read for anyone who's loved deeply, lost painfully, or is finally ready to stop settling. Because love isn't about finding someone who fits a fantasy. It's about being real enough to recognize the one who meets your beautiful soul. So thank you very much for joining me on this episode of Jim's 5am Club, and I look forward to catching up with you again from another place and with another message of empowerment, where we will continue to go through this journey together, sharing OPE, other people's experiences, in the form of lessons, life lessons that we can get from books that other people have written, books that include deep thinking and profound lessons in life. Wishing you all the best. Taleme. Bye for now.